morning, everybody. Happy, what is it? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, April 10th here in I apologize, July 10th. Lord have mercy. July 10th, good morning. We are here in the studio for another Guerilla Sports Daily, talking all things sports. We've got, believe it or not, we've got some baseball we're going to touch on. Not really baseball, but a baseball player to open the show. We've got soccer. Yes, Liv Moods in the studio talking soccer. And then we've got some football as well and some basketball. We're covering all of our bases today. No hockey here, but you guys know Jesse is the king of hockey here in the studio. So the next time he is live, I'm sure he'll touch on that. But for now, we've got just about everything else. I want to open the show with something pretty serious, actually. If you guys are unfamiliar with Wander Franco, he was in some trouble not too long ago for the psychological and sexual abuse of a minor, a 14-year-old girl, which obviously, there's so much wrong with that. But just today, we are actually getting word, it was, maybe 10 minutes ago that I saw this posted, that he is now facing charges of human trafficking, which obviously carries a sentence of at least 20 years in prison. I think that this is something we need to start the show with, because not only is it sick and twisted and horrifying, but you have a guy like Wander Franco, an athlete on the highest level of baseball, being paid lots of money, his life in front of him, young, 23 years old, and he's throwing all of that away for a relationship with a minor. Now, there's so many different layers to this situation, so many different things wrong with this situation, but I really wanted to talk about this from the perspective of this is absolutely a mental illness. And I think that we have oftentimes these athletes that get thrown into these positions, they make lots and lots of money, and they don't realize just how good they have it. That being said, when you are a 23-year-old man, and not only are you engaging in a sexual relationship with a minor, but he was also involving the mother of this minor, whose name we don't know because they're protecting the name of the minor that was the victim in this situation. The mother was actually accepting thousands of dollars to approve of this relationship. A 23-year-old man with a 14-year-old girl, and the mother was accepting thousands of dollars that Franco was paying the mom to accept this relationship, to be on board with this relationship. It's sick and twisted in a million different ways. I did read that the mother is on house arrest for her involvement in this, but again, he is also being charged with human trafficking. And like I said, I studied criminal justice in college as my minor. That's a pretty steep sentence. And you're looking at some pretty serious time in prison for human trafficking. It's not something that should be taken lightly whatsoever. I don't care what kind of a position that you're in of power, who you are, your stats in baseball at this point are completely irrelevant. The athlete that you are is completely irrelevant. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get his way out of this one because it's horrible. And one thing I do know about the criminal justice system, there are a lot of flaws. There are a lot of things that don't go right. But when it comes to children, they don't play around, as they shouldn't. But again, I do think that this is an important conversation to have, because not only is it wrong, not only did he commit a crime, but there is a mental illness aspect to this that absolutely should be addressed. Because again, to the normal average Joe, why on earth would you do that? Why? What do you gain from being in a relationship with a 14-year-old? You've got your life ahead of you. You've got money in your pocket. It seems like he had his life made for him. Really, he had a bright future, a very high ceiling, and it is all not only being thrown away, but his life is basically over. He will forever be branded as the man that engaged in a sexual relationship with a minor. So really heavy stuff, obviously, to open the show. I don't enjoy talking about these things, but I do think they're important conversations to have because it's horrible. So human trafficking charge being placed on Wander Franco, one of many things, obviously, that they're looking at here, the psychological abuse, the sexual abuse. There's a lot of different things here happening, but human trafficking is obviously a very, very big one. So just want to let you guys know that. I just saw that being posted about 10 minutes ago. So he's about to get into the thick of this sentence and court, and it's unfortunate. He's now going to be branded and known as the basically creep, and not the baseball player that he once was. So pretty unfortunate stuff, obviously, thinking about the minor that was involved in this situation and just how sick it is, and also thinking about how many minors get put in this position often, get groomed and get thrown money's thrown their way, and maybe they accept it, maybe it's consensual in their mind, but we know that in the criminal justice system, when you're 14 years old, you can't legally consent. So he's looking at some serious trouble here. Like I said, 20-year sentence is the minimum in this situation, 20 years in prison. Pretty unfortunate stuff. So wanted to open up with the really intense stuff, I guess you could say, get that out of the way, because it is heavy and nobody really likes to talk about it, but we have to get it out there. I'm also going to be talking a little bit today about some soccer. Now, my background on soccer is not great. I dated a soccer player in high school, and I knew enough that I needed to know, right? I was going to the games. I know about a PK. I know about a goal. I actually know we actually got, this is a funny story. We'll actually have a little funny story to open the show as well. My boyfriend and I got in a really wicked fight in high school. And he was the star player on that team. He was a year older than me. We got in a really big fight, and it was during the playoffs. Well, he missed his PK in that game. They lost. They got eliminated from the playoffs. So he was kind of a jerk. So I don't really care now. But I do take full responsibility for him missing that PK because I was in his head. We were arguing the whole day. Kind of funny stuff. It's funny now. It wasn't funny then. He was pretty upset. But I know enough that I need to know about soccer. But I really wanted to talk about soccer from the perspective of there's a lot happening in the Euros right now. And we have a producer named Jay who's actually helping me out today on the show. Big soccer fan. Everyone, send your best well wishes to the Netherlands today because that is his home country and he is feeling pretty amped up right now with how they're doing. I told him he may need to book a flight home if the Netherlands win today because I'm sure it is super lit over there. They're having a time. If you guys haven't seen clips of soccer games, not even soccer games, but people gathering to watch these soccer games in these countries, it's unlike anything I've ever seen. Obviously, we don't have that here in Colorado. The Rapids, the MLS, we know is not on the same global scale as the Euros, but been pretty cool to see. Obviously, he's been very excited with how his team is doing. We have some soccer to talk about. There are some teams that are being eliminated that are kind of shocking. We'll start with that, obviously. We've got arguably the best player in the Euros right now. When I was talking to my producer, Jay, he said he is kind of like the Anthony Edwards of this Euros, of the Euros at this moment. He's hot, he's electric, he's fun to watch, he's very, very talented. Kylian Mbappe, okay, is now eliminated, which is really hard. Obviously, we know even in the NBA, when your favorite player goes out, we spend more time worrying about that player than we do the team as a whole. When you get to watch a talent of Kylian's level, of an Anthony Edwards level, of a LeBron James level, not playing anymore, it changes things. It's not as entertaining, it's not as fun to watch. So Kylian is out. He is eliminated. With France. France got eliminated, and he's arguably, like I said, the best player in the world right now. He became a world champion in 2018, and they were runners-up in 2022. So based on what Jay has told me, my producer, he was a free agent this summer. He's going to be with Real Madrid. Now, I have had conversations with soccer players about which club is best. The best versus the biggest, I think, is a conversation that people have a lot. I will say Real Madrid, based on what my producer has told me, is the biggest club, which is where Kylian will be playing. But kind of interesting when you see a talent of this level not able to help advance their team. We know it's a team sport, obviously, but we also know that with sports, they are very star-driven leagues. So it's tough when you see a guy of this caliber not be able to take his team to the next level. Again, it is a team sport, but it does change things. It makes the tournament a little less interesting when you don't have players of this caliber that you get to watch anymore. Doesn't take away from how talented he really is, but definitely a shock when you see guys like this not able to advance their team. Again, team sport, but you know how things go around here. We also have another conversation to be had. I was sitting in the car looking at things to talk about from a soccer perspective. And the news that kept flashing my way kept saying 16 years old and 361 days old. So 16 years and 361 days. Very, very creepily specific. But I think we're emphasizing the fact that this player, Lamine Yamal, 16 years old and 361 days. And he scored a goal in the European Championship. The youngest player to ever do that. What an honor. I think there were lots of conversations, again, talking to the soccer heads in this studio about whether or not he deserved to be in the Euros at such a young age. That's a lot of pressure. 16 years old, just shy of 17, and he's in the Euros. He's playing with his country in the Euros. So a lot of people questioning whether he should have been called up at such a young age, but he was. And then basically as a big FU, middle finger in their face, he scores a goal, the youngest to ever do it in the European Championship, and in a semifinal, is incredible. So congratulations to him. He turned 17 a day before the finals on Sunday, which is obviously so cool. He'll remember that moment forever. But more importantly, he got to shut the haters up, and we love to see stuff like that. So super exciting for him. That's the soccer we have today. Besides that, I will be rooting heavily for the Netherlands only because now I feel like a fan by, choice, I guess. Jay is a fan. Now I'm a fan. I don't know really anything besides the fact that the U.S. is not playing and the Netherlands are. And Jay's excited, and he's going to be rowdy. I think he's leaving the studio today, maybe around noon, to go catch the game. So we're going to lose him at some point today, rightfully so. So shout out Netherlands. We'll be rooting for you all the way. But super cool stuff happening over in the world of soccer in this European Championship that has been going on. So all exciting things. Let's get over to some NBA. This just in. Kawhi Leonard is not playing basketball. Pretend to be surprised. For 5 seconds, please pretend to be surprised. I swear this man doesn't play basketball anymore. I am a huge Kawhi Leonard fan. Let me start there. Big Kawhi Leonard fan. Always have been. I love who he is as a person, as a player when we actually get to see him play. But it has now been announced that he will not play in the Paris Olympics. USA Basketball has announced. Let me pretend to be shocked for a moment. I mean, what's going on? Now, the reason, because there was a reason attached to this breaking news, the organization and the Clippers determined that Leonard's best interest is for him to spend the rest of the summer preparing for the upcoming season. Well, what does that mean? Well, hey, you're constantly injured. We never have you playing. The Clippers are down tremendously bad. By the way, their odds to win a championship, the 76ers jumped up to plus 850. They are, I think, the fourth favorite right now to win the championship. And the Clippers dropped to plus 5,000. If you are a gambling person, if you're in the world of betting, then you know better than I do, or as well as I do, that plus 5,000 is not great, okay? The Clippers, basically what Vegas is saying is we have no faith in this Clippers team without Paul George. Now, Kawhi Leonard is an exceptional talent. But what have you done for me lately, Kawhi? Well, you haven't played. And now we are not going to see Kawhi play in Paris. It has just been announced, so I mean, at this point, I don't know what's going on. I don't know when we're going to see Kawhi Leonard play again. I want to see it. I love Kawhi as a player, but he's not playing. He's not playing in Paris. Who knows what he's doing in this upcoming season? Will we see him on the floor? I don't know. I can't keep holding my breath over Kawhi Leonard. It's all too much. It's all too much. So that is the breaking news there. And to stay on track with the NBA stuff, I want to start with this. Ladies, find you a man with loyalty like Daryl Morey. You have to. You have to find a man with this level of loyalty. Okay, let me explain. These are all the players that Daryl Morey acquired, both with the 76ers and the Rockets, okay? That's love right there. That's big time love. James Harden is the first one. He was with the Rockets, with Daryl Morey in 2012 to 2021, okay? Then in 2022 to 2023, he was with the 76ers, okay? We've got Kyle Lowry, 2009 to 2012 with the Rockets, and then 2024 with the Sixers. Marcus Morris, 2011 to 2013 with the Rockets, 2023 to 2024 with the 76ers, okay? Patrick Beverley, 2013 to 2017 with the Rockets, 2023 to 2024 with the 76ers. Dwight Howard, 2013 to 2016 with the Rockets, 2020 to 2021 with the 76ers. Montrezl Harrell, 2015 to 2017 with the Rockets, 2022 to 2023 with the 76ers. Eric Gordon, okay, he was 2016 to 2023 with the Rockets, now 2024 with the 76ers. PJ Tucker, I'm not going to keep reading the dates. He was with the Rockets, then he was with the 76ers. Then you've got House, with the Rockers, with the 76ers. Then you've got Covington with the Rockets, with the 76ers. Guys, the list speaks for itself. Daryl Morey is a loyal guy. He knows what he wants. He knows what he wants, okay? He sticks to what he knows. Ladies, we need to find a loyalty like this. We need to find men like this who know what they want. They go after what they want. They stay committed to what they want, and they're loyal to what they love. Shout out Daryl Morey. That list is pretty incredible. That's a lot of players that he was able to acquire, both with the Rockets and the 76ers. Pretty cool to see stuff like that. So we've got Kawhi. We've got Daryl Morey. What else in the NBA? Well, the NBA and the WNBA, actually. We have just found out the cover of 2K, Jason Tatum and A'Ja Wilson. How incredible. Obviously, A'Ja Wilson, a champion. Jason Tatum, a champion. And from what I read, Jason Tatum was pretty emotional about being on the cover. Talked a little bit about how when he was younger, obviously that was like probably something as a kid that you don't ever think that you can be a part of. You know you love the sport of basketball. You know you want to play on the highest level. But being on a 2K cover is kind of one of those unwritten, unspoken highest honors. Obviously, yes, they want to win a championship. They want to have all the rings. They want to be, the best in what they do. But to be on the cover of 2K is obviously a massive honor. Jason Tatum did get emotional when he was announced on the cover. But A'Ja Wilson, Jason Tatum, your new cover for 2K25. Super cool to see. Obviously, loving seeing A'Ja Wilson on there as we continue to see the WNBA grow and get more media attention and get more love and respect. This is obviously really cool to see, and I couldn't have thought of a better duo here. Maybe Jaylen Brown, just saying MVP, but we'll save that conversation for another day. We'll go deep into the weeds of Tatum versus Brown, but for now, we will congratulate Jason Tatum. Shout out to Jason Tatum. I agree with you, Cedric. I thought the same thing for a split second. Brown was obviously the MVP of the finals. The Celtics won this year. MVP is a huge honor. Probably the highest. It means you were the most valuable player in this championship run, in this championship series. So should it have been Jaylen Brown, chat? We've got A'Ja Wilson a champion. We've got Jason Tatum a champion. No one's saying that Jason Tatum is not a phenomenal player. No one's saying that he didn't deserve to be on 2K, but did Jaylen Brown deserve it more? Most valuable player in the championship run. Did he deserve it more? I think Jaylen Brown proved that he is definitely more impactful on both sides of the floor. We saw it in his passing. We saw it in his shooting. We saw it in his defense in this championship run for the Boston Celtics this season. So, should the 2K cover have actually belonged to Jaylen Brown? Or are you looking at this from the perspective of the whole, right? We've seen season after season with this Boston Celtics team, Jason Tatum having his moments, Jaylen Brown having his moments. They kind of are interchangeable. But really, when it comes to being a champion, which I think was probably something that was highly considered when looking at who should be on the cover of 2K, should it have been Jaylen Brown? Did this belong to Jaylen Brown rightfully, the most valuable player of the championship run? Some could argue yes. I would probably argue yes. I think Jaylen Brown had a pretty clear, more impactful postseason with the Celtics this year. Defensively, passing, shooting. Jason Tatum shot very poorly, actually, in this championship run for the Celtics. So, should it have been Jaylen Brown? I'll leave that up to you. You let me know. Was Jason Tatum the only appropriate person to be on 2K25 alongside A'Ja Wilson, or should it have been Jaylen Brown? So those are the basketball conversations. Kawhi Leonard still not playing basketball. Pretend to be shocked. Daryl Morey might be one of the more loyal men to what he knows and what he loves. Now, Daryl Morey is also a very polarizing human. We know this to be true, but hey, he sticks to what he knows and what he likes. Got to respect him for it. And finally, the cover of 2K, should it have belonged to Jaylen Brown? The other thing I want to talk about today is a little bit of football. A little bit of football here. We have seen the Hard Knocks episode 1 where we talked a little bit about, hey, if we lose Saquon, what is our identity? Who are we without Saquon Barkley? Well, in the newest episode, we are seeing basically a conversation with Saquon Barkley on the phone. And by the way, these Hard Knocks episodes, to me, are better in the offseason. We're getting all the behind the scenes, the phone calls we normally don't get to hear, the negotiation process with a guy like Saquon, who has been so impactful and so important to the Giants' success. I'm going to put that in air quotes because how much success have the Giants really had? But the success they have had, a lot of that can be attributed to Saquon Barkley. So we're seeing these conversations now that we normally don't get to see in this offseason. And honestly, it's shedding a lot of light on not only the process of negotiating contracts and figuring out where these players are going to land, but it also kind of shows what the trying relationship between Saquon and the front office of the Giants has looked like. So we've got a quick little clip. We'll play it for you now, and then we'll debrief together, chat.
All right, well, let's do that. We'll go out and see what the market says. I think it's the right thing to do. I love you, man. I appreciate everything you did for the organization. You know, the 2 years I was here, and I'm not saying we're not going to get something done, but I think it's right if for some reason it doesn't work out that you know that the organization thinks the world of you and everything you've done. But hopefully, you know, you go out there, you see the market, and you say, you know what, I want to be here, and you give us a shout back.
All right, I appreciate you.
All right, Saquon, I'll talk to you.
So the whole, I already told you where I wanted to be, to me, just shows that this phone call is just a sliver of the conversations that have happened between the front office and Saquon Barkley. To me, he sounded pretty fed up. He sounded pretty over it on the phone. He has clearly made it abundantly clear to this Giants organization that he wants to be a Giant, right? And this is where I think we run into issues with players and their renegotiation process and the business side of the NFL, right? We only get to really tap into what they allow us to, which is why this Hard Knocks documentary and these episodes have been so cool to watch, because we're getting more access to processes that we normally wouldn't get access to, right? We get to know these players for who they are on the field, the philanthropy work that they do off the field, who they are as family members, as friends. We get closer and closer to these players that we don't actually know through a thing called social media. We get access to them that we otherwise wouldn't without our cell phones, which is obviously where things can get a little dangerous and a little tricky, but we love having access to these players because we feel closer to them. We feel like we know them on a personal level. We really don't. And one thing that I don't think we know enough about is the business side of the NFL. It's very easy to get frustrated with a player because they left your organization, right? You start burning jerseys, you start getting angry, you start getting upset without knowing the full context of the situation. There may have been Giants fans that felt like he doesn't want to be here. He wants to go somewhere else. He's got his eyes on the market. He doesn't want to be a Giant. And when you're a sports fan, when you have been a die-hard fan of your sports team since birth, and your favorite player who you have bought multiple jerseys for is leaving your team, it's very easy to assume that they wronged you, right? They're not loyal to the team in the same way that I am. So to hell with them, goodbye, I'm sick of you, I want nothing to do with you. The same sort of response that we got from Melvin Gordon when he left the Chargers, right? The Chargers hated Melvin Gordon, so much so that when he was a Denver Bronco and went back to Los Angeles, they booed him. And it hurt his feelings. We saw a post-game clip of him saying, yeah, that sucked. I didn't like that. I don't like this feeling. And I actually had the honor to do a one-on-one interview with Melvin where we talked a little bit about the process of him leaving the Chargers. And what he said to me was, hey, just so you know, I was promised things that weren't delivered on. I never wanted to leave the Chargers. In fact, he never wanted to come back to Denver. So he loved the Chargers so much, he didn't even want to come back to Denver. So there's so many layers to these processes behind closed doors that we don't get to see, conversations we don't get to listen to. So it's very easy to assume that a player just walked out on us, right? They gave up on us. After all we've done for you, you just want to leave. Saquon's making it very clear in that phone call, I told you where I wanted to be. He's being asked for his word. Hey, give me your word that you're going to come back here and we're going to try to make something work. Saquon's like, I already did. I already told you I wanted to be a Giant. So if you're not willing to make that happen, then that's not a me problem. So in so many ways, Hard Knocks is actually protecting these players. in so many ways, it's also exposing the business side of front offices. There's a lot of ways you can interpret this phone call, right? Obviously, we know that with business is a budget, okay? And so with these running backs being as underpaid as they are, it's probably one of the most underpaid positions for what these players have to do every Sunday, Monday, Thursday. Very, very underappreciated, undervalued position in football. But not only that, it feels like there's very little job security because of the budget problem that these teams run into with running backs. So for Saquon to verbally express, he didn't say, I want to be a Giant. He basically said, I already told you. Meaning, I have said this before, and you're choosing not to hear it again. You want me to sit here and beg and plead. I already told you where I wanted to be. So you either make it happen or I walk. Okay? But again, as fans, it's easy to see the walking part and go, screw him. We didn't want him anyway. Screw you. You know, you disrespected us. You don't want to be here. We don't want you here. I'm burning the jersey in the bonfire tonight with a beer in my hand, okay? It's easy to go there. But Hard Knocks is giving these players an opportunity to say, I told them I wanted to be here. I wanted to be a Giant. They didn't make it happen. Simple. Because as much as the NFL is a business for these front offices, it's also a business for the players, right? It's their job. It's their income. It's how they put food on the table. And we know they get paid a lot of money, okay? Saquon was going to get paid a lot of money compared to the average Joes of the world, no matter where he ended up. But he very clearly stated, I already told you where I wanted to be, so now the choice is yours. So I do appreciate this Hard Knocks documentary in so many ways for, again, shedding light on both sides of the situation. Oftentimes we only get one side, which is why you've got wives like KCPs who go, false information. That's cap. We were not offered the same thing in Denver as we were with Orlando. So let's not try to frame it that way. So Hard Knocks, I think, is a really cool thing to be able to watch the process in its rawest form. Now, are there probably things that they choose not to include in this documentary? Of course. Are we still getting the full story? Probably not. But we're getting to see a different and a new perspective, which is always very cool to see. So that's what I have for you today, ladies, gentlemen, sports fans, and Guerilla watchers. We've got soccer. We've got young guys telling everybody to shut up. I deserve to be here. We've got really good guys not playing anymore. Sad day. We've got the Netherlands, fingers crossed, hopefully tearing it up. Jay's fist pumping in the booth right now. We've got 2K covers. We've got Kawhi Leonard not playing. We've got Daryl Morey, polarizing guy, but sticks to what he knows. And we've got Saquon Barkley, able to kind of share his side of the story just slightly, even if it's over a phone call. You can do some decoding and you can understand what that situation probably looked like, how it started, the process of it, and then how it ended. We know how it ended. He's no longer a Giant, but he clearly stated he wanted to be. So there you have it. And also the big one, the opener of the show, is Wander Franco, charged with human trafficking, looking at potentially 20 years in prison for that charge after psychological and sexual abuse of a minor, a 14-year-old, I might add, and the mother on house arrest for accepting thousands of dollars to support and approve of this relationship. 23 years old, life in front of him, ceiling high, money in pocket, playing on the highest level of baseball, and throws it away for a relationship with a minor. That, my friends, is mental illness. And that's a fact. Chat, what do you have for me? How are you feeling? What is going on? Should be more than 20 years, 1,000% correct. Yes, absolutely. I dated a soccer player too in high school. She's not older. No offenses, they're a different breed, but good to know we can relate here about sports. Yes, I dated a soccer player in high school. We got in an argument during the playoffs. He missed his PK. His team was eliminated. Oopsie daisy. This is the thing. I didn't mean to fight with him that day. He pissed me off. Oh, imagine that. He made me mad. I don't really know what for. It was back in high school. It was a long time ago. But yeah, he missed his PK. It was pretty bad. And I was sitting there the whole time going, oof. I wonder if I had anything to do with that one. We will never know. Got to be able to remove your emotions. Leave him at the door, baby. It's time to make that PK, and he didn't. He didn't. So there you go. I want to see Olympic drama happen. Whoo! I'm sure we'll get some. If you guys missed yesterday's show, we have 14 Coloradans being represented in the Olympics. Let's go, Colorado. I love to see it. I absolutely love to see it. So I will obviously be rooting for those athletes just because I am a Rocky Mountain girl. But very excited to see the Olympics. Obviously, you guys know that's the highest level of talent in the world. So very excited to see how that looks. Hopefully the USA can represent. We always love that. It'll be interesting to see how Team USA does for our men's basketball team. We've got a lot of talent over there. Not sure if you guys saw the clip. We'll end with this little sweet, happy thing. I will let you guess first, because maybe you haven't seen the clip. There is a video clip of it's 114 degrees outside. All these fans are waiting to see the Team USA men's basketball team. And basically the video is who do you think stopped to talk to the fans that had been waiting in 114 degree weather? And it's just all these people passing. Was it AD? Was it KD? Was it Ant? Who do you think it was? Chat, I'm gonna let you guess. Who do you think stopped? The one player that stopped in the 100+ degree weather to speak to the fans that had been waiting there probably for a long time. Who do you think stopped to sign some jerseys and show some appreciation to the fans that had been waiting? Take a look at that roster and let me know what you think. We'll let you put up some guesses. Drew Holiday, it was not Drew Holiday. No, it was not. It was not Booker. Booker walked right by. It was not Booker. It was Steph. Come on. Are we shocked? Not really. Gotta love him. Really. Gotta love him. Yes, Steph stopped. He had a cute little bucket hat on. He was signing things for people and, all the other players. And I don't know. The video was only so long. It didn't show the entire roster, so I'm not going to speak on it in such a way that none of the other players stopped. We did see KD walk by. We did see AD walk by. Booker walked by. Ant walked by. And Steph stopped. Steph stopped and was a man of the people, a man of the fans, and obviously we know he's a crowd pleaser. He's a crowd favorite, so loving that. But yes, very excited to see how Team USA represents on the global level, and the Olympics should be very fun and very interesting. For tomorrow's Guerilla Sports Daily, Jesse will be in the studio talking things. He might sneak some hockey in here because, stick to what you know. I am trying my best with this soccer thing, you guys, but only because my producer, Jay, is teaching me everything I need to know. Okay, I was texting him last night. I'm like, is this important to talk about? He's like, yes, talk about that. 16 years old, absolutely discuss that. So he's helping me out. We will get there eventually. As for baseball, I don't speak on baseball very often, but when it comes to this kind of thing, human trafficking, yeah, we've got to talk about it. So tomorrow, Jesse will be in the studio. Also, Friday morning, Jesse will be in the studio, and then I will be back next week to do a little bit more Guerilla Sports Daily. You can expect these every morning, you guys, talking all things what is happening in the world of sports. I'll leave you with this. Should Jaylen Brown have been the cover of 2K over Jason Tatum? Think on that one. Tyler, thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Much love, as always, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.